All right, everyone, this is Ayesha, and it is so exciting to have you in studio today because it is great to introduce you to everyone, not only just at the expo, but everyone wanting to get to know everyone at Southwest ICANN. So thanks for joining us.
It was great joining you. I'm really excited.
Now, tell me about what you do at ICANN and what makes you love it so much.
I'm employed with the ICANN network as a junior mentor in online classes as well as face-to-face mentoring. This is amazing to do, especially for the fact is it's something new that I never really experienced much, especially when I transitioned as a mentee going into mentorship, which was very interesting to do for myself. So yeah, I very enjoy working as a mentor, doing face-to-face and online mentoring.
When you arrived today, I could see you scoping out the joint you were looking at for everyone. I feel like, I think you called me the mum, so I feel like you're the big sister of kind of the group here of mentors and mentees. Would that be about right? Is that how you describe yourself? Like you kind of keep an eye on everything, make sure everything's running good and, everything's, on time and...
I don't really know about myself because I am an older sister in real life anyway. I have siblings. I don't know if I do bring that over to work or not, but I do feel that Southwest in a whole is a family because we are so close-knit, and for the fact that we've known each other since ICANN started, more or less, here in Southwest. We all went through mentoring together or were mentored by the same person or stuff like that, or we all met on camps. So we are very close-knit. I always do like preferring to it as a family.
When we're not working you to the bone at ICANN and changing people's lives, I can see the green in the aqua green in your hair. Like what do you love to do?
So other than working, which I really don't see ICANN as working, more as a fun job that I really enjoy to do, I'm someone who likes learning. I like doing art, I love reading, I love learning new things, which is something that I really enjoy to do. Like, I enjoy art. I want to continue on doing more artwork and more learning about things when I can. When I'm not doing that, I'm usually with my siblings and my family, which is a big part of where I am today, is having my family as a really close support group as well. So I really enjoy spending time with them. And there are occasions where I had to learn to pamper myself, hence the green in my hair. I do love going out there with my, my hair and my, just me time.
Yeah, this is it, isn't it? About expressing yourself and who you are. And you know what the other thing I get a feeling of with you is that it hasn't maybe always been this way. Like I'm sitting across from you now and you are so confident. And the way that you carry yourself is with thought and process and just an ease about you. People want to be around you. But I've got a feeling that you haven't always been this way. What do you attribute to having this confidence that you've got now for us?
I suppose it started off with actually being introduced to the ICANN program. I was in my last year of high school, and that's hard for anyone on the spectrum or not. And I met Kyle and Fabian, who at that time were mentors. And to say the truth, I was probably at that time non-verbal to other people who I didn't know. I wouldn't talk or communicate. I was literally just the silent observer. Would clam on to myself when people asked me questions. So I suppose that I was lucky that they're stubborn and they worked a way to allow me to have the confidence. And I suppose being in the environment where I wasn't the only autistic also helped, because at that time I didn't really know anyone else who was on the spectrum. I was kind of isolated by myself. So being introduced to the ICANN program and going through being mentored by other autistics really helped me realise that it was all right for me to be different and that I should have the confidence. And then when I was able to have the ability to help other autistics with the things I wasn't able to get help with, I suppose that made me a lot more confident for the fact that I may be helping other people with things that I never had when I was younger.
What about for teachers? I mean, you talk about, again, coming through high school and feeling so alone, and although we've seen so many gains now with teachers and schools being not just more accepting, but also bringing in programs like ICANN, if there was anything that you could perhaps talk to teachers about in terms of having an autistic in their classroom to help them, what would your one piece of advice be for them?
So I suppose I should start with, there's no such thing as really a bad teacher when it comes to autistic people. I think it's more for the fact they don't understand more than anything. I think the information that they have is outdated and what's going by facts instead of the person. I'm saying this because I had many teachers who were both amazing to teach with, and then also those where it didn't really get to me, like their teaching ways didn't help. And I suppose it's just the way they did it. So for a bit of my advice is ask the autistic person. As much as the teaching side of it, if we're asked and spoken to as a human being, especially through that time, and have a choice of how we learn, I think it worked out a lot better. I always would have thought like, oh, how do I say this? When I was in high school, I always wanted to be asked whether I liked doing something or if I understood it. And I knew it was difficult for teachers, being one autistic kid in a room of 20-something other kids. Like, there's many of them who all need help. And I kind of learnt that I needed to ask, or I needed to do the extra work. So I suppose for teachers, it's for them to talk to the autistic child, have meetups and plans so they can ask, like, if you're getting this or you're not getting this, how can we help you to get this? Or what can we do to get you to this point where we need you to be? Or what are some of the things that we shouldn't do as well? Like, should we have things in place that will allow you to concentrate? Like, what type of plans do you want to have? I think if you have that in process, it becomes a lot easier. I realised that when I started making plans when I was in high school, when the teachers realised that I was dropping behind a little bit, that something was going on and they needed to fix it. So I suppose having the plans and having the one-on-one and then asking the kid, like, now what are you feeling with this? Like, having them having a hand in how their education goes. Because it's not like I didn't hate school. I loved school and the learning, but not having the way to plan my own educational way didn't really help at all, because I couldn't understand the structure that was going on where the other kids would have.
And I think this is where the ICANN network comes in pretty handy, right? We get to communicate with our teachers weekly, and you guys are able to really help teachers now understand from an autistic point of view what needs to happen to make some of those changes in the classroom. You were in front of me today as this strong, confident woman. If you could go back and tell a young Ayesha, hey, there's just one thing that I want you to know, maybe when you were about 15 years old, what would you say to her now?
That I'm not alone, you're not alone. I grew up when females on the spectrum weren't really heard of. At that time, diagnosis was only for males. It was unheard of for females to be diagnosed. So I felt very alone. I already felt different being diagnosed, but being classified as something that really shouldn't have been diagnosed made it a lot worse. So if I could go back to a younger Ayesha, I would probably say that you're not alone. There are other autistics out there who go through the same thing you do, all have the same problems, all have the same little weirdness quirks, all have the same interests as you, all understand where you're going through, are willing to support you when you need to. And to just allow to trust people as well. Back then I didn't trust very well. I thought that everyone was out to get me. I had put out a wall which didn't help with, myself isolating. So I suppose going back, I would say trust more and realise you're not alone.
You've been amazing today.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, don't worry, I love doing this.
Good.